Hello friends and welcome back to the channel. So grab your popcorn. I've got a feeling this is going to be a long one. I've got a little bit of story time, a few intuitive messages to go through before I start pulling cards on camera. So if you want to skip to the cards, maybe just skip straight ahead to that. While these cards are on the table, I'm going to be doing the intuitive messages so you can kind of visually see, if you want to skip ahead, what's going on. But excuse me, the messages that come through, they always mean something to someone. I never know how exactly it fits in, but I'm just going to give you what I'm getting. Now, trigger warning as well, I'm going to be talking about addictions. I don't feel like it's you, Libra. I feel like when I'm tuning into your energy feels incredibly calm, like a huge amount of equilibrium, incredibly balanced. They're telling me knife's edge, which is interesting because I was getting double-edged sword. So it's like you're sat on the knife's edge, right? You're perched on the fence, you're sat on the knife's edge. You're like not leaning one way or another, you're perfectly balanced. This is something about a perfectly balanced sword. I feel like that goes to like when I've been watching sort of medieval programs or historical programs about, like, I don't know, samurai swords maybe I'm kind of getting for somebody, or medieval kind of shows where, they talk about the sword being perfectly balanced. I'm kind of getting that as well. The sword is a very Libran metaphor. I kind of pulled out the Libra cards, so Justice, the Empress, and the Queen of Swords. But I've also pulled out the High Priestess, and I'll talk about that in a second. But you can see here, this is a perfect example of this, like the Sword of Justice, the Sword of Truth that Justice carries. So it is a double-edged sword. It means oh yes, exactly, that's what I see. It cuts both ways. Libra is known to be a very fair sign, a very balanced sign. If there's any kind of arguments or disagreements, Libra will hear out both sides. Actually wrote down in my notes, devil's advocate. She's not one to kind of jump on the bandwagon and kind of cancels people. Like Libra's not a cancel culture type of energy. It's more of a balanced, nuanced opinion that understands. Just remembering somebody in one of the readings got 50 shades, and I was like, what does that mean? Like somebody's up to kinky stuff. But it's coming back to me now where it's like 50 shades of grey in terms of things aren't black and white, and Libra understands this. Things are nuanced, things are complicated. I was thinking to myself, sort of in bed this morning, when my mind wanders and goes off on little adventures by itself. I was thinking how when wars happen, when there's hostilities, nobody thinks they're the bad guy. It's not like one army's like, hey, we're going to be the bad guy. We're going to play the bad guy in this movie. That's not how it happens in real life. What happens is both sides think they're right. Both sides think that their opinion is the right opinion. Both sides think that they're the ones with the right morals. They're the ones with the right point of view. They're the heroes. Both sides thinks that they're the heroes. And this is how you have conflict, because neither side is willing to give any ground and say, oh, maybe we could do that better. Maybe we could negotiate here. Wars are ended with negotiation. This is like, fighting doesn't win conflict. Negotiation ends conflict. You can go and Google, how wars actually end. There's usually some kind of peace treaty that kind of like finalizes things. Otherwise, the conflict continues happening. So you are the negotiator, you are the peacekeeper of the zodiac. So there's definitely something here about understanding both sides of a story and actually arguing for, it's almost like arguing for the underdog, or arguing for the person being vilified, or the group being vilified. Which is really interesting. It does feel like there's a bit of a crossover between Virgo's reading. So I was getting this energy of like, there's definitely something with addiction. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if when I start to pull cards on camera, just to be 100% clear, these cards I've pulled out myself to show you what I was visualizing when I was tuning into your energy. So these cards have not come out naturally. So there's definitely something with addiction. So I'd be interested to see if the devil comes out and where it comes out in your reading, to see if it comes out in your energy or somebody else's energy. because all the songs that I've got this morning, I channeled Happier Than Ever. This is an intuitive song that I channeled, but all the songs that I was listening to were about drug addiction. Otherside by Red Hot Chili Peppers, you know, famously a song about heroin addiction. I want to say that there could be something about the opioid crisis as well. If you want to look up the opioid crisis, especially in America, this was normal people, again playing devil's advocate here. You think about someone who is a drug user as somebody who is immoral, you know, corrupt, you know, they've made bad choices in their life, and there's all these they're showing me a paintbrush, there's all these kind of things that we paint people with when we hear something, but the reality of the situation, especially recently, especially in America, certain drugs companies, certain pharmaceutical companies, like medicine, right? We're talking about medicine to treat health issues, you know, legalized, licensed medicine. I believe that, I can't remember the details, you can go and look it up, but I believe that there was something maybe slightly unscrupulous or something like that wasn't right with the medicine that a certain company or a certain couple of companies were putting out. There was a strong addictive quality, or I think doctors were prescribing it wrong. There was something to do with the way that the medicine was made, and doctors being asked to promote a certain kind of medicine that caused normal people, we're talking like mothers, housewives, you know, hardworking like businessmen, respectable people, traditionally respectable people, normal kind of suburban people who were going into hospital for, I don't know, to have a tooth removed, or you know, to have a minor operation, but they were given these prescribed medication to deal with their pain, you know, to manage their pain, and they became addicted to these opioids, and this actually created what you could call heroin addiction or opium addiction in America, in modern society, and this affected like a huge swathe of people. So I know about this mainly because I watched a Stacey Dooley documentary about it. I think it was Stacey Dooley, it could have been Louis Theroux, one of those, or it may have been both, who, you know, they go out and they talk to people, and, you know, they hear the stories. And the thing is, a lot of the time you don't know, it's a very hidden addiction. You know, people can hold down a job, people can have a very respectable job, a respectable life, and yet they can have this this addiction gnawing away at them because they were treated with a certain chemical which perhaps they didn't have control over becoming addicted in the first place. You can actually, if you go and look up, I think it's like Song Facts or Genius Lyrics about that song Otherside by Red Hot Chili Peppers. They talk about one of the band members who was addicted to opioids, like you know, a drug addict. 5 years later, after becoming clean, was treated with a painkiller, a medical painkiller that he didn't want to have, which caused him to get addicted again. So, you know, this is I want to say that, again, playing devil's advocate, you don't know what's happened to cause people to have certain addictions. Now, addiction can come in many forms as well. It's coming through very strongly with drug addiction here. Again, some of the other songs, I've got Stupid Girl by Garbage, where it says you pretend you're high, and Beautiful Dangerous with Slash and Fergie, which is, you know, very interesting video to that song. And when I specifically asked for a song for you for your reading, I got Hallucinogenics by Matt Mason and Lana Del Rey. So somebody somewhere in connection to this reading has an addiction, probably some kind of opioid type addiction that allows them to hallucinate. Could be marijuana as well. It doesn't have to be that. I was thinking to myself, how does the devil play the hand with Libra? How does the devil chain Libra and get Libra under control? I'm talking hypothetically, right? Our own shadow self, the evil within, if you like. And with Libra, I want to say it's probably love. It could probably be love addiction, because if you want to look at the effects of falling in love, it does give you a kind of opioid-like high. And so somebody could be addicted to love, like quite literally, might as well face it, Libra's addicted to love. So it can come in very addictions can come in very surreptitious ways where we don't realize it's happening until it's happened. And I want to say, if I go back to these cards on the table, again, Libra, I was trying to figure out, is this Libra? Like, when I'm channeling for you watching the reading as a group, you know, the collective you, the energy that I'm getting is like this. This is very much your energy. It's like very, very still, very face on, very strong, very quiet. It's kind of like watching, waiting, listening, but it's quite motherly as well. It's not intimidating. It's not harsh. It's just realistic, intuitive, logical, steady, calm, very, very balanced. Like, those scales are balanced in this picture. So something as well, maybe somebody's dealing with a court situation. This veil behind the Justice card means kind of when people, like when the jury retires to go and discuss like what they think. It's kind of like the justice that happens behind closed doors. But she sits in the front. She's the spokesperson of the justice system. And here, normally, there's a veil with pomegranates on behind the High Priestess, which depicts things that happen on the other side. Again, interesting, we have the song Other Side. So on the 5D, in the subconscious, in the afterlife, and her connection to be in between. So with this double-edged sword, which is very much what I was seeing, it's kind of like there was one side that was white and one side that was dark, or one side that was in lightness and one side that was in shadow. And this is represented here by the two pillars on the High Priestess card. It's like you are very balanced. You're on the knife edge. You're in between, like perfectly balanced. Like, you don't feel like you're at risk. You don't feel like the person with the addiction here. Although something happened when I was pulling out the cards, because I originally went for this deck. Now, this is the Steampunk Tarot. I have a smaller version of this deck, which is my own personal deck, which I use off camera. And I was seeing the High Priestess and I was seeing the Justice card, and I went naturally for this deck. But as I pulled them out, especially this High Priestess, again, somebody could be Libra Scorpio cusp. You know, this High Priestess, Justice, Queen of Swords, the Empress are all Libra cards. The High Priestess is a Scorpio card. So it's interesting with this on a knife edge, it could literally be somebody who's like Libra Scorpio cusp. And Scorpio is a much more potent, addictive energy than Libra is. So it could be that. I think they're telling me Eminem. Is Eminem on the cusp? I have looked it up in the past, but I don't remember. So the rapper Eminem, if you didn't catch that. So the reason I wasn't happy with this deck is because different cards in different decks, different images give me different feelings, which like helps me as a reader understand what the cards are trying to tell me. And this High Priestess is a very, very sly, shifty High Priestess to me. She's not sat face on. She looks very, very cunning in her appearance, and her cards are all face down. There's something about the cards being face down, because here on the Justice card, which is a Libra energy, her cards are actually face up and she's dropping them. So I went to this deck and I thought this feels much more like your energy. This feels much more Libran. And the reason is because they're both sat face on, particularly these two cards, because this is what I was kind of channeling. They're both sat face on. They are right in the center of the card. She's got the Sword of Truth up, meaning she has nothing to hide, right? She's speaking the truth. And also it has this lovely thing about light and dark being on that cusp. These cards are much more balanced and they feel like your energy. So what's this energy? When I was looking at the cards and the depiction, I noticed that all these four are inside. So they feel like an enclosed space behind closed doors. Again, I was talking about behind the veil and in front of the veil. And then all these are outside. So to me, there's something going on about the public self, the face that we put onto the world, and the hidden self, what happens behind closed doors, the things that we keep secret. Again, this energy of the Justice card for Libra being a truth speaker and the High Priestess being a secret keeper. There's something with that energy. So I don't know if there's two Libras. Maybe I'm reading for two different groups of Libras. Again, something similar happened in Leo's reading, where I had this double energy. It could just be the two sides of the self. Now, specifically what I'm getting here is somebody, with it being behind closed doors, this could be somebody's moon placement. So a Libra moon. The moon in our chart explains things like fears, our secretive behavior, but also what happens behind closed doors, what we hide from the world. So it could be that somebody is behind closed doors. There could be a secret that they're keeping, and it could be something about what happens behind closed doors. Again, to use the analogy of the opioid crisis, it could be somebody who has some kind of addiction, but they're keeping it hidden. And again, talking about how the devil controls us, how that shadow self, we've got the word shadow, how that shadow controls us, how the devil chains us, is different for every single person depending on our chart. But for Libra energy, again, it's like, it's the bonds of love, I want to say. So it could be that you are helping somebody who has an addiction, and perhaps it's not good for you, and yet you're chained to them because you love them. It could be a family member, it could be a loved one. It could be that somebody has an addiction that they're struggling with. And I want to say, the way you beat this, the way you beat that devil that keeps you chained, that keeps you small, that keeps you hidden and bound, is to be truthful. You're being told to be in your energy. Look at this sword of truth that she's carrying here and here. It's raised. She's speaking a truth. In this card, it's down. She's not speaking a truth. The strength of Libra, especially with the Justice and the Queen of Swords, is not to be afraid to speak your truth. This is Libra's gift, to be a clear communicator, to speak a truth, even if it's a double-edged sword and it can be painful to some. So I want to talk personally about, because I am a Libra, I've never taken any substances, like nothing at all, like nothing in terms of like drugs. The only thing that I've ever had is alcohol, which of course is legal, but I grew up in a pub and I grew up around alcohol, and I was drinking from the age of 13, and I absolutely, looking back at it now, absolutely had an alcohol problem. I wouldn't say I was like fully alcoholic in terms of, and I've been around people who are like properly 100% alcoholics, who get up in the morning and pour themselves a drink as soon as they get up, and it's like that like Bender. If you think about a Bender in Futurama, it's like his baseline is slightly drunk. So I wouldn't be like that, it would be in the evening, that I'd be like, right, I need to unwind, I need to have a drink, but it'd be almost every evening, and I was definitely 100% drinking too much. And it can affect your mental health, it can affect your physical health. It has such a detrimental effect where it gets you stuck in a cycle where, you need it again, you need it again, you need it the next day. Now, I gave up drinking for a while. I've definitely 100% got a handle on that again. I wasn't bad enough that I had to 100% stop drinking, but I had like a once a week rule. And this is the thing about it. Helped me to be honest about it. It helped me to talk about it on my YouTube channel and my videos, because I think when you bring it out into the open, when you bring it out into the light of day, it forces you to take ownership of it, and you defeat the devil. Okay, so I'm right now in this reading as a Libra to explain what I'm picking up on here. Behind closed doors, I've had a drink most days this week. Not excessively, I've not been I would say I was barely tipsy, but I have had a drink most nights this week, just to, again, like taking the edge off feeling. And I'm not excusing it. I'm not happy with my behaviour, and I don't feel healthy because of it. But I've had a bad month. My mum died right at Christmas, and I've had COVID, and I struggled, and now that my health's getting back together, I just kind of had a little mini blowout, and I'm not excusing it. It's what I did, it's what happened, and I'm not going to do that anymore. Right? But this is the thing, me telling you now, me making it public, it's not behind closed doors anyway, and I'm defeating the devil. If I kept it secret, if I didn't tell you, there's the devil. You see how it works. So I don't know how this works for you, and I don't know if it's for you personally, you know, you as the collective watching this video, but it could be somebody around you who has a secret addiction, and it could be a lot of different things, and they might not be telling you about it. You might not know. So encouraging them to speak their truth, to be open, to be public, is the way that you can help them to be accountable and help them defeat that devil. Now, this could also talk about something that happened in your past, perhaps something that happened in your family, behind closed doors, in your childhood perhaps, because your clarifying words are from what, and remember our shadow. So from this I was getting, your power, Libra, comes from speaking the truth and for advocating. Maybe some of you are advocating for people. Now, it's really interesting that this all should come out, because last night I had so many dreams, and one of the dreams I was on a train and I was actually advocating for women who were pregnant or had small children. I was trying to get paperwork done for them. So again, this devil's advocate role, you know, perhaps you know, these women thought that they couldn't stand up for themselves or something like that in this dream. But ultimately the dream ended with there was a bad guy on this train, right? And I want to say that although the people were acting like he was the bad guy, he actually turned out to be a little bit of an anti-hero, a little bit of a protagonist. So one of the women that I was helping, she as people were trying to capture the bad guy, ultimately this friend that I was helping and this guy escaped together, and it could be seen as a really bad thing, but the energy that I got in the dream was like, you know, they truly loved each other, and they were good for each other, and it was kind of like an anti-hero thing where, you know, everybody was acting like these were bad people, but were they necessarily bad people? So I don't know if that applies to anyone out there. Again, everything that I get just before a reading and during a reading is part of the reading. It's a message for somebody. If it's not your message, it's fine, just leave it, you know, and again, skip ahead to when I start to pull cards on camera. Okay, so that's that. It's coming through very, very strongly. Like I say, all the songs this morning that have been coming through have been about addiction of some kind. There could be a misunderstanding as well. Somebody could have heard something wrong or taken something out of context or misunderstood something, because my daughter came in saying, it's funny how things play out. She's created a character called Heron, which sounds like, it's like a shortened version of heroin, right? But that's not what it means to her. It's just a name to her, Heron. And it's like a really good character as well. It's kind of like a protagonist. So it's funny that that's how this reading should play out for me personally. It's like I was getting heroin, and then it's like, you know, they couldn't give me this made up name of my daughter's character, so they gave me the closest thing that they could. So readings can always play out in unexpected ways, I want to say. But she was talking about how she misunderstood the names of certain places. So like Niagara Falls, it sounded like it sounded like Viagra to her. She thought it was Viagra Falls. Why she knows what Viagra is, I don't know. Maybe I'm going to have a drugs talk with her. No, I'm very open with her. We discuss things very openly, again, which is part of the battle, right? Like, you want to be able to communicate with your children. And she thought that the Mariana Trench was the marijuana trench. So again, there could be some kind of misunderstanding, miscommunication. Somebody could be hearing something that isn't really being said. Be aware of that. Again, with this devil's advocate energy that keeps coming through. I also had another dream where I was in a church, and I came in as this kind of almost Esmeralda character. So almost like the devil in the church, which is funny because Virgo had this thing about the monkey in the mirror, which has a very similar meaning or a similar vibe to it. And so I was this, you know, this Esmeralda, like devil woman in the church, but I wasn't, right? I was me. I'm a nice person. And the priest came out to talk to me, and oh my God, he was hot. Like, I swear to God, if there was a priest like that in my area, I would be like, hello, Father, I have sinned. Like, like, I'm joking. I'm sorry. I hope I'm not offending anybody. But it was like, in the dream, it was like, there was like a joke around daddy issues, and like, obviously a priest is a father. It was like, I found the daddy I needed in my life, right? So it can be like somebody's found God, right? In in a non-offensive way. But it was like, oh, if I knew every priest looked like this, I would have, you know, joined the church a long time ago. That was the energy of it. And it was very, I'm making jokes which could be partially offensive, but at the same time, it was like this person's charisma, this person's charm was actually encouraging people to follow. In this dream, it was all good energy, right? Because I know some people have issues with the church for other reasons, but this was like, it felt really nice. It felt like the positive side of that, if you want to put it that way. And it's so funny as well, because I was thinking, do I need to mention this? Do I need to mention this in the reading? Is this for Libra, or is this something personal to me? Sort of like Fleabag, if you've ever seen Fleabag with the sexy priest. And as I was thinking, do I need to mention the church in Libra's reading? I was watching another tarot card reader and they mentioned church bells, exactly as I thought it. So I thought that's confirmation that I need to tell you about this energy, whatever that means to you. Right, okay, I told you it was going to be a long introduction. Have I got through everything? I think so. I was like, how do I... Oh, no, the only other thing that I was getting for you, Libra, was this Mother Mary energy. Now, you can go and look up, there's a lot of stuff about the Marys in the Bible, and I think there's 4 Marys total in the Bible, and sometimes they get conflated. I think one of them is purported to be a prostitute, one of them is the Mother of Christ, so there's a lot of different opinions about a woman and who she is. Like, it's really interesting. If you want to go and dig into that, it's really, really interesting. Again, you don't have to be religious to look at something from a historical perspective. But with this woman dressed in blue, this high priestess being in blue, I'm getting this kind of Mother Mary energy. Now, Mother Mary energy to me, when it comes through in tarot, is an energy of unconditional love. Like, you know, high vibrational love that a mother has for a child. Again, somebody could be the mother of a child with an addiction. You know, so... yeah, the unconditional love of the mother, or I don't know, Mary. I also got the name Jane. It was actually, I got a full name. It was Jane something, and the second half of the name is somebody that I know. I don't know if they know a Jane, but I'm not gonna tell you the full name because I think it's too personal. But if somebody knows somebody called Jane, like that could be an indicator for somebody. Mary Jane could also be a thing because of the way I wrote it down. Mother Mary, Jane, Mary Jane, I don't know. Right, oh, Libra, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to just drink some water, and then we're going to pull some cards on camera. The only thing left to say is I had this energy of, again, with this being indoors, outdoors, or within the self, defeating your own demons, defeating your own shadow side. Again, go and look up Carl Jung and the golden shadow, the collective shadow. I got this energy of an inward journey is always an outward journey. What you discover when you do that kind of hermit energy soul searching, you know, it shows on the outside. When you defeat your inner demons, you become more powerful in public. So that's a message for somebody. You've got caring connections there as well. So there could be people, you could be the caring connection. Again, the energy that I'm getting for Libra is like the advocate, the person who cares, the person who's calm, the person who's balanced. I was trying to think, do I know any Libras with addictions or addictive behavior? Personally, you know, the Libras that I've known in my life, and maybe a little bit of alcohol. I'm just thinking of somebody now, but normally Libras are very, very balanced. You know, Libras are very good at self-regulation, with that logical ability to analyze their emotions. Most Libras will pull themselves out of addictive cycles because you know, they need that pendulum to swing into the balanced position. So if an addiction is pulling them too much in one direction, normally Libra will self-regulate. But again, different placements, there's other things that can affect that. My goodness, how long is this reading? Oh, 30 minutes already. Do you know what? Maybe I need to break into 2. No, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to pause, take a drink of water. Water, everybody. And then we'll pull some cards on camera and we'll see what messages want to come through the cards today. Okay, quickly interrupting myself. I didn't mention the Queen of Wands. I actually had her on the underlying of both decks. There's something about the Queen of Wands, and then funnily enough, and it's like they knew. I swear to God, like whoever pulls out these cards, like the universe, whoever, my guides, it's like they knew I'd forgotten to say something. So in my own readings, again, I use this deck myself. Look, I split on the lovers. Look at that. I didn't do that on purpose, by the way. I didn't know that was going to happen. I use this deck off camera for myself, and I show up in my own readings quite a lot as this Queen of Wands character, which is because I've been working on my confidence, so it makes a lot of sense to me. But when I pulled the cards, I noticed that this this High Priestess card, which is very much the energy that I'm getting for you, it's kind of what I was visualizing for you. It has this black cat on it. Now, I don't think the High Priestess normally has a black cat. I don't think it's normally associated with the High Priestess, but normally in traditional tarot it is associated with the Queen of Wands. Now, what's interesting is these two decks that I'm using, it's not a black cat on these. There's a ginger cat on this one. Look, it makes me laugh. It's so self-satisfied looking. It's like as a cat should be. And then this Queen of Wands here, she's on a horse rather than having a cat on this image, but there's that kind of thing, that like motif around the horse's neck to symbolize the black cat. But I just thought it was really interesting that these two Queen of Wands don't have a black cat, and yet the High Priestess does. There's something about that too. So again, it's like I was shuffling this deck. I also saw the Hermit card, which I just thought I'd mention. That was kind of showing to itself. So I was shuffling the deck, and the Queen of Wands came back out, and I was like, oh, clearly I have to talk about it. And then it's so funny that the High Priestess should have made her way back to the bottom. It's really weird. Okay, going again, back in a sec. All right, Libra, let's go. So what's going on? This is the part where I'm going to pull cards on camera, just so you're aware. So Libra, what's going on for Libras, please? Libra's collective reading, what's going on for Libra? What's going on for Libra at the moment? Here we go. Contract, look at Libra. Libra is you. Again, like it's like you're doing shadow work, like looking at your shadow self, incorporating the shadow, balancing out both sides of yourself, the angel on your shoulder, the devil on your shoulder, finding that equilibrium, finding that middle ground, finding that balance, balancing out situations around you as well. You could, again, maybe you've got a love addiction, an attachment issue, maybe you feel very, very chained to something at the moment. There's that journey card again as well. You're on a journey of self-discovery, I want to say. So contract, there could be legalities involved. You could be signing contracts at this time, like starting a new job, buying a new house, taking out a loan, something like this. There's some kind of contract. Now, contracts can also be soul contracts. The life we agree to before we're born. If you're into that kind of thing, again, I'm taking on a lot of different energies in this reading, so different things are going to come out, and if it's not for you, that's fine, just leave it to one side. It's just for somebody else. So if you want to talk about soul contracts, the life, before we were even born, we agreed to learn certain lessons on this earth. It can be lessons about love, about addictions, all these kind of things, and you're balancing those scales, you're figuring it out. The reason why, again, it's the Libra Goddess, right? The Libra Goddess, I think it's Thetis, Thetis. I'm not 100% sure. I think there's a couple of different goddesses that are associated with Libran energy, like Aphrodite, Venus, famously. But Thetis is this kind of like judge scales energy. And she was a very, very fair-minded goddess. And the reason why she's shown as blindfolded, again, this is kind of like a symbol of like the court system, is because justice is blind. She will hear both sides of the story. She's a neutral observer. So it's like you're being Switzerland right now, right? It's funny, I was thinking about this. I was actually thinking about what's going on between America and Russia, is why I started thinking about all this, and just trying to understand both sides of the story, and to be a neutral observer, and you can, to be able to, this is the beauty of Libra and Gemini as well, quite strongly, is to have a very nuanced, dualistic understanding of things that are happening in the world, or with a person as well. Understanding that there's good and bad in a situation on both sides, understanding that both sides of a conflict think they're right. Okay, so it's like, to be the mediator, to be the middleman, to have that, to be the devil's advocate, you have to have that dualistic approach, which again, famously with Gemini and Libras, drives us crazy. I've got a Gemini moon, right? It's like to have a to not have a black or a white opinion, but to be able to understand an opinion, like to be able to stretch out that spectrum into that 50 shades of grey is it's a gift, but it's also, it drives you crazy. It drives you mentally crazy as you try and look at things from all different angles. Again, I use the analogy of a diamond, or you know, for Libra, a cut diamond, because it's like every single facet, you can see every single facet and shine a light through it. That's Libra's ability, but that's a lot of information to hold in your head. It makes me think about when I used to do essays at university and I'd absorb all this information, and then I'd have to get this information out into a comprehensible essay, you know, and it's like, where do I start? Again, it's that feeling, this must be part of the reading, because it's what I had at the beginning of the reading, where there's so much information here. How do I start? How do I explain this very, very complicated message that I'm getting in a structured way? And what I used to find very helpful, again with that kind of sword raised indicating communication, what I used to find very helpful when I was trying to do an essay was to talk it through, was to get someone, sit them down and say, this is all the information that I have to convey in this essay. And that process of getting it out of my head into words, it's like taking a jumble, it's like taking a dictionary that's jumbled up in your head and having to get it out word by word, or unraveling like yarn. Like if you imagine like knotted yarn, like unraveling it a bit by bit, it actually causes it to have some kind of structure to it. So there's something like that happening there as well for you. Okay, contract. Again, you could be going into some kind of contract. There could be a contract that is being applied at this time. It could be that you're negotiating a contract. I'm getting this negotiation or middleman kind of energy for you. Yeah, this kind of knife edge energy as well. I'm just going to read this card. 6. I just feel like you're this neutral middleman, like advocate energy, where, you know, maybe you're giving a voice to people who have... The thing is, sometimes oppression can happen, and this is the lesson we were learning in Virgo's reading. Sometimes oppression can happen even though people have good interests and well intentions, even though people think that they're in the right. You know, they're telling me crusaders. They were showing me like white, you know, the crusades. You know, those people thought they were doing the right thing, apparently. You know, they were the Christian soldiers, right? Then now they're giving me onward Christian soldiers marching off to war. Again, I'm neutral. I'm not saying that anything's right or wrong in this reading. I'm just giving you the information. And again, this is very, very Libra's energy. It's like you can very quickly, I think, when there's a conflict happening, sometimes it's like you're faced with a, are you with us or are you against us attitude? And it's like, well, if you're not going to have this, you know, especially when people are pushed to two extremes, like two groups of people and they're both in some kind of extreme energy, you can often feel forced to pick a side. You can often feel forced to not say certain things and say other things, because that's what is going to allow you to stay in with that group, right? It's like you don't want to get kicked out of either group. So it could be a case of like you've got two friendship circles and they've fallen out with each other, and you're being asked to kind of like pick a side. And it's like, well, you don't want to say the bad things about this group and you don't want to say the bad things about this group. You actually want to say, you know, you actually want to say what they've got in common and bring them back together. But while people are angry, they're showing me pitchforks. While people are angry, if you advocate for the other group, then, you know, you risk being kicked out of that group. It's like, oh, if you're not with us, you're against us. So it could be that you're between two situations and you're about to get kicked out of both, because people don't want a nuanced opinion from you at this time. They want you to take a side. But I want to say, Libra, your strength and your natural stance is to take the middle ground, and you're not wrong. It's like they're wrong for creating conflict on both sides, even though both sides think that they're right. And you having the nuanced view, even though it's the hardest view to have because it feels like you're getting pushed out of both groups, I want to say that you are right. You are right. You are doing it's like when you all go in front of those scales of justice, you're going to be the one that gets through the gate, because you've balanced those scales. The others aren't. The others are only looking at things from their own point of view, from their own perspective. And this may just be what they're capable of at this time, especially if we're hurt, especially if we're afraid. That's when that kind of like devil energy comes out that makes us selfish. So if you can talk about like in extreme crises, people get very, very selfish because they're in a self-preservation energy. It's interesting. I keep seeing other tarot card readers talking about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and the basic need for shelter, for food, for for safety, we build on that. As we have those things, we build on it, and we have like friendships, and then we have at the top like self-actualization, being the best person we can possibly be. You can't be the best person you can possibly be when you don't know where your next meal's coming from. So I am getting this. It's very hard to have the top of the mountain view, the higher perspective, when everybody around you is in that like self-preservation energy. But you are right. Okay, I'm not going to read it. I don't need to read it. I think I've got the message out. Who's Libra? Who is Libra at the moment, please? Who is Libra? Switzerland. Libra, Switzerland, I'm hearing. That's too many. Whoa. Okay, no, that's interesting. And the otter. I love the otter. The otter is like looking for a friend, looking for a mate, looking for somebody who sees things the way that they see them. You are the light in the darkness. Look at this really interesting energy. You've got 2 spirit cards. I'm tempted to put it like this. Again, with this like light and shadow, like tangible and psychic. Again, I feel like somebody's on Libra, Scorpio cusp, because the golden egg is something tangible. It's something real. It's something you can hold. It's a gift being put in your hand. Funnily enough, and I'm going to talk about this now, I don't know where this came from. My daughter the other day was like, oh, I've got an opal in my room. Do you want it so you can put it with your other crystals? I've got all these like crystals that I have on my my table. And she went off and found it, and she brought back, I think it was this one. They've got 2 of these. I think it's called Angel Lace. And she brought it back in, and I said, oh, that's actually Angel Lace. That's not an opal. And she was like, right, okay. Oh, I didn't dismiss her. I wasn't like, I just, oh, that's this. So it looks like he's got a little sad face. She also brought this in. I think it might be a jasper or a carnelian. She's got a little sad face. And then I sat down to do a reading yesterday. It was my Valentine's Day readings. And this was just sat there. And I said, oh, you did have an opal. You did have an opal. And she said, what? And I said, this, you found it, you put it on my table. She said, no, I didn't, that wasn't me. And so I was like, where did it come from then? Because I didn't put it there. So I feel like I've been given a little bit of a gift from the universe. So talking about this golden egg, it's something tangible, it's something real, it's something you can hold in your hand. You may actually be getting something like a job offer. It's kind of like the Ace of Pentacles for me. So you may be getting some kind of like actual tangible, like contractual 3D offer. But you also have this black egg, and to me the black egg is something that's just for you. So to me, if you've ever watched Game of Thrones and the dragon eggs that are gifted to Daenerys, it's in like one of the first episodes. It's not a massive spoiler. It's been out for a number of years. You probably know by now. But she's given these decorative eggs as a wedding gift. And they say, oh, they are dragon's eggs, but they're old, right? They're like fossilized. They're not like active eggs, but she knows what to do with them. She has that instinctual knowledge of what to do with these eggs, and she puts them in this fire and the dragons hatch. So it's like there's something that has been overlooked by other people. It could be you could have been overlooked by other people, but it's like it's resonating for you, it's humming, it's like you're psychically aware of it. You're psychically aware of this thing that is just for you. And it's like, it always talks to me about something that's been shadowed, like something that's been hidden because it's meant for you. The Firefly to me is a card about lighting up the way, being a light in the darkness. So when bad things happen, it's almost like your natural psychic ability, your natural gift for being in the High Priestess energy is actually it's being made 3D now. It's being made into something that's tangible and real. I don't make any money from doing tarot card readings. I do it because I feel divinely guided to do it. I feel like spiritually this is what I'm meant to be doing. So I hope, you know, I just hope it's helpful. I hope I'm doing good, and I hope I'm not doing any harm. So I was talking about this in another reading. My Jupiter placement is Pluto, which means that my wealth, my abundance, my it's like the way I get money should be through doing things that are associated with Plutonic or Scorpionic energy, like High Priestess energy. So to me, doing this should be my way to abundance. It isn't. Again, Capricorn Lilith placement. Am I ever going to get any money for anything that I put time and effort into? I don't know. The stars do fuck us up a lot, don't they? But it's that kind of energy. It's like fated. It's like your path of expansion. It doesn't have to be money either. Jupiter is a card about expansion. The way that you're going to expand is through your psychic abilities, and it is going to bring you something that's tangible and real, because you are being a light in the darkness. Just give me a second. Okay, let's keep going. So, who is Libra? Who is Libra? Tell me about Libra. Your energy is so interesting. I'm glad this is in the upright. Who had that in the reverse the other day? Leo. 4 of Cups. There's a situation that I feel like you're... Who are you? Right. You're the Wounded Warrior. This is one of my favorite cards. It's a challenge card. It's a difficult energy, but I love it because it shows me that you are incredibly strong. To me, this card's better than the Strength card because it's showing me that you have been going through something. It could be something that's physically tiring, physically draining, but you're still on your feet and you're still fighting. It's also known as the Guardian of the Gate card. No, that's 7 of Pentacles, 7 of Wands. It's giving me Guardian of the Gate energy, sort of 7 of Wands energy, where it's like you're on your feet, you're defending something, you're you know, you're the first line of defense kind of energy. So you are in a defensive energy. You are wounded. You are very, very strong. You are persevering. The 9 of Wands teaches us perseverance. In the reverse, it's an energy of giving up. In the upright, it's I am standing my ground. I am not giving up. It's like, this is my hill and I'm going to die on it kind of energy. I want to say that you know that you're right. You know that this middle ground approach is right. You know that because the thing with Libra is, Libra does not make rash decisions. Libra is known to be sometimes even a wishy-washy sign. It's like, can you just form an opinion? Can you just give me a direct answer? No, because Libra knows that things are never black and white. Libra knows that everything is 50 shades of grey. And sometimes holding a nuanced opinion that is flexible is the hardest thing to do. It's human nature, especially if you're short of time, especially if you're stressed. Human nature is again that kind of like baseline of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It's like sometimes you need to move fast. You need to, I'm sorry, my neighbours are moving in. There's a bit of banging in the background. Sometimes you need to move fast. Sometimes you need to make a decision. Sometimes you need to see things in black and white because you need to get things done. But I want to say that that's almost like a knee-jerk reaction, or it simplifies things. If you have a popular opinion and you haven't put a lot of thought into it, it's just like, this is right because everybody says it's right. That's easy. That's so bloody easy. That's like, they're telling me scapegoating and they're showing me sheep. It's like, you know, like lambs, like followers, but they're telling me scapegoat. It's easy. It's easy to have the right opinion, right? Like the opinion that your social group wants you to have. It's much harder to be like, my opinion is the right opinion because I've thought about this from every single potential angle. Like, I understand every facet of this situation. I understand that the situation is incredibly complicated. I can hold that in my brain. I'm keeping this stance, and it's draining and it's tiring and it's hard. I want to say a perfect example. Oh my goodness, I'm banging a lot. A perfect example, whether you love her or hate her, is Theresa May. Theresa May is a Libra. And she had this dualistic approach to Brexit, which annoyed everybody on both sides. But at the end of the day, it was a complicated situation. And had she took a stance on either side, I want to say it's almost like it would have been wrong, because it's taking a polarized opinion, and taking a polarized opinion is politically popular because you associating with one group. But having that polarized opinion, which is very intellectually complicated, it kind of distances you from both groups. It makes you not relatable to either group, but it's the right thing to do. It's and again, I'm not a big fan of Theresa May, but as a Libra, I could see that nuanced approach that she was taking, and how it alienated her from both sides, but it's at the same time, it's that middle ground. The Eight of Cups is longing for something, so really picking up that energy of that Leo reading, but that person was in reverse. You're not giving up on something, and you're longing for something. It's like your heart is aching for something. You could be wanting to move position, to go on a long journey, to move to somewhere that's more spiritually comfortable for you. God, there's a lot of noise going on in the background today, I'm sorry. Yeah, the Eight of Cups, it's a card about longing, a card of feeling like something's missing. And I do see this as a burden for you, but you're so strong. With the otter and this specific image of the Eight of Cups, there's just with the water animals, there's a dolphin here. Dolphins to me talk about Venus, Aphrodite energy, the goddess of love. So it may be that you're looking for a partner who perhaps can satisfy you both emotionally and intellectually. Okay, yeah, longing for something. It's got this feeling of like staying in one place because you have something to do, you have some kind of responsibilities. It's incredibly draining on you, but at the same time longing to be somewhere else, longing to be somewhere that's more emotionally fulfilling. Strong, Libra, your energy's very strong. Again, that kind of high priestess energy. Right, so tell me, who is Libra? What's going on for Libra? I'm doing you a 9-card spread. So this was me figuring out who you are, what is your energy. Shush phones, oh my goodness, they're all going. You need more information, you're collecting information, you're kind of in recon mode. You are the Empress, love that for you. This is one of your cards in the tarot. Gorgeous, again with that kind of like mothering, nurturing, patient, grounded, supportive, independent, capable, wonderful energy that I'm picking up for you. Gorgeous, I'm really glad to see that. This is your energy as well. It can indicate a Taurus if you've got Taurus placements, but I'm reading for you, for your energy. Yeah, in that Judge Judy mode of I need more information here. I'm going to be patient. I'm going to wait for more information. I want more information. Oh, the devil, the shadow side. Oh, here we go. You see that little fallout there. Just check that you can see all these cards quite well. There's the Hermit. Deep soul searching. Moving on, moving forward. Deep soul searching. This is hiding. You've definitely got a bit of a secret. No, cutting out that devil. What did I say? What did I say, Libra? I love you. I love you so much. The devil doesn't have anywhere to hide. It's almost like this is it's funny, it's like the flip side, because normally these are the people who are hiding from the devil. But I want to say that here's the light coming in that I was talking about, shining a light on the devil. It's like you can't hide when that sort of truth comes out. There's nowhere to hide. there's nowhere to hide. You're cutting something out. Your Queen of Swords in this. You're seeing the truth of a situation. You're being honest. You're using your superpower, and your superpower is honesty. It's truth. Standing your ground, speaking your truth, cutting out the devil. The devil cannot hide when you shine the light of the sword of truth on it. I am not worried about you at all, Libra. You've got this. You have got this. You're doing everything right, learning lessons, moving on. You could be traveling. You could be going on a boat journey. Oh, that's too many cards. Doing it with love. Gorgeous. I love you so much. I don't know what this is yet. I don't know which way around it needs to be. Underlying Ace of Pentacles. There's that. Could be a job offer. Something coming in. It's that golden egg. The golden egg's here. It's coming in for you. Which way around, please, with this card? I don't know what either of these cards are yet. Something's not fair. Something's not balanced. But I want to say that the truth is more important to you than money. You may be taking... I don't know. Let's just see what this card is. What's that Six of Pentacles in reverse about? I don't know what this is, and I don't know which way it wants to be. Knight of Pentacles. Okay, wow, Libra. I'm just going to pause. I think my daughter's, she's off with a friend to take her out on a date. So I'm just going to pause for a second and see where she is. Oh, I was worried that my my phone was going to turn off then. My daughter set out to meet a friend, and her friend showed up at the house. They'd like passed each other, like ships passing in the night. Okay, funny, ships passing in the night could be related to whatever this is. Right, in the middle of your reading, Libra, is this deep soul-searching energy, the hermit energy. Again, it's like going behind closed doors, going within, going on a journey of the self. What did I have written down here? An inward journey is always an outward journey. So doing the soul searching, asking yourself deep questions, really looking at that shadow. And I want to say it's almost this energy of dragging your shadow self up to the surface and revealing it. Speaking a truth about, I don't know, something that you obsess over. It could be obsessive thinking about a situation. It could be, I'm out of breath. It could be... the Empress can indicate a mother. My mother passed away, so again, it's like speaking your truths about that, your feelings about that. It could be some addiction and bringing it out into the open. It's got this, I'm surprised that the sun isn't here, because it has got this energy like dragging, it's almost like dragging the devil out of hiding and shining a light on it and saying, look, this is the truth of this situation. And it's something I want to say that's within you, right? It's the devil within your own shadow self. Which I love this. I love that the representation of the devil in this deck is the shadow side. I think it can talk about so many things. For me, it often comes out, again, with that Lilith Capricorn placement, it can come out about imposter syndrome and feelings of not being worth. You know, it's like, I don't deserve to get paid for this job. And like, it's like the stupid things like that. It's anything that keeps us small and trapped and chained and self-defeating, right? Self-sabotage, yeah, the shadow side, self-sabotage energy. But this sort of truth is here. It's like either you're saying, look, I need help with this addiction. Look, there's this problem that I have that I want to make known so I can hold myself accountable for it. But yeah, the devil's got nowhere to hide with you in this reading. You're absolutely going within and dragging it out. I love this reading. It's so powerful. So gaining some information, collecting information, waiting for more information. It's a bit of an energy of spying. So maybe, again, I'm getting a slightly obsessive energy of like, you could be trying to get to the bottom of a situation, especially if you are a Libra, Scorpio cusper, that Plutonic energy. It's like the detective of the zodiac. It's like the investigative reporter. It's like obsessively thinking about something until you get to the root of the issue. It's like something's off, something's not right. I'm not seeing the whole jigsaw puzzle here. I need to solve this mystery. Very, very Plutonic, Scorpionic energy. So again, some of you are definitely on the cusp. So this is this energy of like, I've got to figure this out. I need to look at this more. I need to peel back those layers of the onion here. And again, I feel like it's of the self. You are the Empress card. So you're like self-studying, self-analyzing, self-critiquing in a very powerful way. Again, this Nine of Wands energy, I always say you cannot be a true emperor or empress if you haven't been through this like long perseverance phase, because it builds strength, it builds resilience. Is such an important tool in that toolbox, which is why I love the Nine of Wands. So even though it's tough, it's exhaustive, it's like your battery's draining, you know, you're still standing your ground, you're still on your feet, you're still keeping on going. And it's okay to have bad days, right? It's okay to have days where, like in that Leo reading, you think, oh gosh, I need to have a break. I need to have a day off. It's okay to have that, to replenish that battery, right? But you back up, you're fighting, or you've never fell down, you know. it is a card about when you fall, you know how to get back up again. And again, as a Libra, I drank too much this week, and not too much. It's well within the limits, if I'm honest. You know, the limits that you have for like men and women, and like daily limits. But still, it's too much for me. It's not. It doesn't make me happy to be in that lower vibrational energy. So again, speaking it is making it known, making it public, and holding myself accountable, which is the thing to do. So moving on from choppy waters, you're leaving something in the past, something that was turbulent, something that was emotionally difficult for you, but you are moving forward. You're moving forward mentally and emotionally here, represented by the swords and the water, moving to calmer waters, moving to better days. You could literally be moving again with the world and the six of swords together. That could be literal movement, especially movement over water. So it could be moving country, or crossing water, moving far enough that you're crossing water. It's kind of giving me bridge over troubled waters as well. The song, the world card, completing a cycle, completing lessons, completing a soul contract, learning about something that you came to earth to in this physical form to learn about. Understanding it, learning those lessons and not looking back, or looking back. Right, looking back on it and saying, I have to mind the past here. I have to mind my memories. I have to mind past situations to understand who I am as a person, and how, change that direction in the future for the better. Doing it with love as well, self-love. I want to say love for the self, compassion for yourself, all the love that you kind of want to pour in relationships and to the people around you, having that same compassion and the same big open heart for yourself. So not seeing yourself as the bad guy, not seeing yourself as the villain of the piece, but saying, I've got compassion for my own shadow self, my own mistakes, my own those moments when I did fall down and I did things that I'm not proud of, like having compassion and understanding for those moments, being my own personal best cheerleader. Absolutely gorgeous, like the Empress and the Queen of Cups. That's such gorgeous energy with the Hermit in the middle. It's like, I want to say, Libra, right here, you know yourself, you know exactly who you are, and you're good with it. The reading ends with this something of yourself that you're revealing here as well with the shadow, as I'm doing in this reading. The Six of Pentacles is an energy about something being unfair. Again, like talking about imposter syndrome. Sometimes it's like, yeah, I'll work for peanuts. I joke, I work in a coffee shop and I joke sometimes, I'm like, yeah, just pay me in coffee. Like, it's making sure that you are given equal resources. But I see here that perhaps there's something where you're not in a position to give, because this is like somebody's in a position to give to people who need something. I want to say that you're not in a position to give anything here. You could be on the receiving end. You could be in a position where you need help financially. And then with this Knight of Pentacles, though, it's like, it's almost taking a loss, but moving forward with it. He's got one pentacle. So really the Six of Pentacles, if it was equal and fair, either all these three people would have two pentacles, or these two children would have three pentacles each, right? It should be divided equally. I want to say there's something where something hasn't been divided equally, but you're given, it's like you're given that golden egg, right? You're given that one pentacle, that Ace of Pentacles. Oh my God, look what's underneath. It's like you're given that one pentacle and you're moving forward, and you're going to rebuild this 10 of Pentacles. You're going to rebuild this legacy. You're going to create this solid, abundant future for yourself. But this is just the first investment. This is just the first step of that journey. So you're doing something where you're building up some kind of security, some kind of financial future, some kind of legacy. But it's coming in after some sort of loss. But it's like, it's got the energy of like, that's the pentacle you needed anyway. Like, you only needed the one pentacle. Sometimes I say, like, for example, you can go through things where, maybe you separate from a partner and you take a financial hit, or you, a business, you split up from a business partnership and you take a hit. It's like, sometimes you can take a hit and you can go forward, but it's still whatever you invested in the first place is still, beneficial. It wasn't a wasted opportunity because you've learnt skills. You've got information about how to do things right the next time. So it could be if you've built a business from the ground up, you know, you struggle to get there. You could build another business, but you know, right? You know what forms you need to fill in, what contracts you need to sign. You know the legal stuff. You know the jargon. You know, like you've done the, you know, you've been to the bank for a bank loan before. You know how that process works. So it's like you can rebuild, but you can rebuild more quickly because you've got a lot of skills in your like toolbox of life. So really good reading, Libra. And again, it's not like it's easy. It's not like it's been smooth sailing for you. You've fought battles here. But I think most of the battles that you've been fighting have been inward battles where you've been learning about yourself and you've been learning about your own strengths and your own weaknesses, and really kind of being honest about those weaknesses. So what's going on outside of Libra? What's Libra dealing with? There's that Seven of Wands energy, that defensive energy. I'm going to talk more about that in a second. King of Swords. Again, it could be like a lawyer, contracts. Like the King of Swords draws up contracts. A legal advisor. Maybe you have a legal advisor at this time. The Chariot. The Sun. Okay, so really good stuff. The Sun card showing in the underlying is freedom, it's expansion, it's confidence. There's something good outside of you. Now, if you're going through some kind of legality, it could be that you've been at loggerheads with someone or something, because this is your energy and this is their energy. And look at, even though this is two different decks with two different cards, the Nine of Wands and the Seven of Wands. And if you remember, I was saying it feels like the Seven of Wands. It's like you're both in the same stance. You're mirroring each other. Now you're persevering. They are trying to get the upper hand, trying to get the higher ground. You're both defensive. So again, it feels like there's some kind of situation where you and another person, or you and a group of other people, are defending maybe your opinions, defending yourself. But again, here you've got this kind of like lawyer energy, very analytical, very logical. This person can give you really good advice, especially in terms of things like contracts or legalities, law, anything to do with like logic. This person is going to be a really, really good advisor for you. Again, it could be advising you about your defense, if perhaps this is a court situation. Somebody's trying to get control of a situation here. Again, this person, it feels like whoever this is, could be an Aquarius, doesn't have to be. This person is they're trying to get the upper hand. They're trying to take the higher ground. They are trying to control the situation, and they are looking to have success and victory. They could have had success and victory in a situation, but they are trying to get things into alignment. The beautiful thing about this, and the reason why I think this person could be like a potential ally for you, is funny because there's something going on in my kind of social group at the moment where you know, I'm seeing this play out where people are having differences of opinion, and the language has turned slightly military, which I really dislike. I know Boris Johnson as well, talking about things like Brexit, he uses military language, like war language, like the language of Churchill, who I know he admires, which makes me very uncomfortable, because it's almost like, again, with this kind of like rotting energy of using military language or war language in a situation where there's a conflict of opinion, is, I think, very, very toxic, and it's a big red flag for me. So but I do feel like this could be, I don't like the word ally, but I can't think of a better word right now. This could be somebody that you could work with, because I think that they're also trying to bring two different energies into alignment. How I was talking about how the High Priestess has the light and the dark pillars behind her, showing the two sides, and how I was saying that you're on the kind of knife edge. The Chariot card has normally a white horse or a white sphinx and a black horse. and they are bringing them into alignment. They're taking two separate energies, two different forces, two opposing polar views or groups or mindsets, and they're bringing them into that middle ground. They're bringing them into alignment, because you cannot have success, you cannot have the victory if there's two sides that are trying to go in different directions. If there's two energies pulling in different directions, that chariot is going to have trouble navigating forward. It creates a blockage. So in order to move forward, you have to pull these paths back together to the middle ground, and this person's trying to do that. They're trying to control the situation nicely with the umbrella. It's almost like keeping the rain off the back or something like that. So I want to say that this person actually, this card about winning at all costs, and this the Justice card again. Yeah, some of you could be definitely going through some kind of legalities. I want to say that there is a chance here, Libra. I feel like you're the lawyer, right? You're the advocate, or you're the lawyer. It feels like that in this reading. Look, like literally like devil's advocate here. Having compassion. And it can be even sometimes like looking at our own life experiences and looking at our own shadow side and our own lessons, and finding compassion and sympathy for other people, where we say, okay, maybe you made a choice there that I disagree with. Maybe you made a decision that I wouldn't have made. Maybe you made a choice that I think was a toxic choice. However, when I've faced those decisions in my own life, I've understood, I can look at that myself, see where I've been in similar situations, and even though I made different choices, perhaps I can understand why you made that choice. You know, I have compassion for you. I understand that your path is a different path to my path. There's different obstacles there. There's different things that we have to persevere through, and sometimes they're kind of showing me like rocks on the path. Sometimes those stumbling blocks are going to trip us up. They're going to make us give up. Some of us have a clearer path, and we're going to stand up and keep on fighting. But I can understand why you tripped up. I can understand why you're in the situation that you're in now. And I also know how to help you. I know how my sword of truth, my experiences of deep soul searching can help you defeat your own demons. So it is compassion. It is a compassionate guiding light energy, where you're not sitting in judgment. You're not sitting in an energy of, oh, I made the right choices, therefore I'm a better person than you. That is not your energy. Your energy is, come to me, I'm compassionate. I can help you understand yourself. I can understand you. I can help you understand yourself. And, you know, I can help you find a light through this darkness. We can shine a light on this shadow that's haunting you. And there's somebody here as well who, I want to say, they understand you very, very well. Could be an Aquarius, that intellectual companion air sign. And they could also help you to clarify your thinking. The difference between Gemini and Libra and Aquarius is where Gemini and Libra can think themselves in circles, right? Because they have that nuanced view, like looking at every single side and holding it all in their head, like those 50 shades. Aquarius is a little bit more black and white. They're more at the point of drawing a conclusion. Like Libra's about weighing the evidence, and then Aquarius is like, I also understand both views, but we have to make a decision here. Libra could sit on that fence forever, and Aquarius is like, but what are you going to decide? What are you going to choose? We have to choose one. We have to give it a lot of thought and make a educated decision. We have to reach a verdict here. So, and I want to say that a verdict can be reached that is in alignment with your own values, and it is fair for both sides. This tells me that something might not be fair. Something might not go your way. You might not have victory. Somebody outside of you could have victory, but you have what it takes to rebuild and move forward. Again, like kind of very similar to Leo's reading, moving on in slow motion. I'm also noticing the stag, kind of the white heart, kind of symbols of King Richard. Would be meaningful to somebody. Yeah, no. Whatever happens, Libra, you're good. And you're good because it's really interesting, because that Leo reading, the problem with one of the energies, one person on this side was giving up, and the other person on the other side was not doing the soul searching. I don't know if you're dealing with a Leo, Libra, but you're doing both. You're doing the thing that the people weren't doing in the Leo reading, which is standing your ground, maintaining your position, not giving up, and doing that deep soul searching, which is what the two people in Leo's reading were not doing, but you are doing it. Okay, really strong reading, Libra. What do I want to get for you, though, in terms of advice? Okay, I'm going to get you 2 advice cards. I'm going to get you Enchanted Map, and I'm going to get you Animal Spirit Oracle. Okay. I'm getting good energy off this person, though. Like, they're very logical. I feel like even if they have a different opinion than you, I feel like you're going to respect whatever decision they're reaching. You're going to respect it because you know that they've put as much time and thought into it as what you have. There's an intellectual respect there with that person. So again, I don't feel like they're your enemy. Even if they have a slightly different view than you, you understand why they have that different view. Libra, advice for Libra, please. Am I still recording? Please tell me I'm still recording. Yes. An hour and 15 minutes. Advice for Libra is, do you know what it is? I was watching Nicholas Ashbal, who's another tarot card reader, and he's a Libra. And I was like, God, we can talk. What is it with Libras? We can philosophize for hours. Coming to life and intention. Golden Palace on the bottom. Nice. Again, this very, very golden energy. Definitely look into Carl Jung's Golden Shadow if you don't know what that is. I'm connecting with this sun energy as well. And you get the Golden Shadow through doing this work of the Hermit. Some of you may have strong Virgo in your chart. The Hermit is a Virgo card. This person outside of you as well, they could be a Cancerian or a Cancerian placement. The Chariot's Cancer. This is Cancer, Libra, Taurus. I mean, this is all your energy. Capricorn. Okay, Gemini. Right, Enchanted Map Oracle. Where's the book? 29. So the numbers 29 and 22 could be important for you. Watch out for repeating numbers. Could definitely be a partnership on the cards. On the hands. A partnership on the hands. That seems like it's something. They're holding hands. A partnership on the hands. Helping hands. Something beautiful is being born in your life. When you look at your life, can you see how you've grown and evolved over time? An inward journey is always an outward journey. Perhaps you've shed skins and identities and created new ones, or at the very least matured in your ideas about yourself and the world you inhabit. You know things take time, and Spirit's timetable is rarely in sync with your own. I do see Gemini and Libra as very chameleon-like energies, again, very adaptive. So sometimes people can find you hard to pin down. They can think, who is Libra? Like, as soon as I think I understand Libra, you know, they change their opinion. It's like, I think I know what Libra's opinion is, and then they come out with a completely different opinion. Again, it's because you're multifaceted. It's because you are... you know, you are the 50 Shades, where a lot of other people are very black and white. So don't worry about it. If other people see you as being a shifting energy, just because they can't see the positive in that, you don't have to worry about that, right? You know that you've got the multifaceted view. You know that you're looking at things from different angles. And the wonderful thing about Libra is, you know, where sometimes some energies would prefer to make a swift judgment, you're aware that new information can always come in. You're aware that, you know, evidence can be submitted forever. So you're always open to new information. You're always open to renegotiating your own opinions based on new facts as they come in, which is a very, very open and very flexible energy, and it is your strength. Don't worry if other people can't understand that. You know, that's because they're actually not capable of doing that superpower that you can do. This card indicates that a long-held dream is beginning to show signs of life. You must try not to coax it along or shape it according to your desires. This is a very slow-moving energy. Spirit knows the best form of the manifestation of this dream, and your life can become even better than you could possibly imagine. Now is the time for reverence and awe. Allow the contours of your path to be carved by the hands of the divine. All you have to do is show up. My daughter's back, hold on. Oh, they're funny. They're so funny. They've come back with Dominoes. Dominoes and a load of sweets. Okay. Right, okay, so 22. So there may be a bit of noise in the background. It's half term and yeah, they may just get a bit noisy. Deliberate, clear intentions have the power to change your world. Your objectives will be fulfilled at this time. Inspired intentions are like magic arrows shot into the sky. The universe is bringing you a gift, showing that you are hitting your mark. Recognize that you're not the one who has to do all the work, however. Others can help you co-create reality. You're connected to the power of your intention, sending it out into the field. Then allow for synchronicity to work its magic. Perhaps the good intentions of others will inspire you to send out beautiful ones of your own. I feel like that's what you're doing to others. Like, your good intentions are inspiring others to send out beautiful ones of their own. Own the life that you want to lead and live deliberately with clarity and detachment. The reason why I say that is because you had the firefly, which is always the person shining the light in the darkness. And I don't know if you hear him cheering in the background. And this is your energy. So I want to say that you are the firefly. You are bringing light into the world, and being a shining example for others to follow. The video cut out. Your other advice card was this cow spirit. I also saw the swan, the fox. What else? Oh, I can't remember the others. Oh, there were a few more. I'm sorry, like I said, the video cut out and I didn't realise. But cow spirit came out for you, so I'm going to read that. The number 15 may be important to you, may be meaningful. You are at a beautiful point in your life today, for your needs are being met effortlessly and in so many ways. Fully embrace this truth by focusing on all you have right now, including the positive relationships that sustain you, the work you are proud to do to contribute to the world, and the activities that inspire you and nourish your soul. Cow spirit nudges you to pay attention, because this is the perfect time to focus on your choices, actions, and behaviours that you know feed your soul and bring you heart contentment. Now is the time when you will see many of your projects and commitments that were set in motion in the past begin to yield valuable gifts that will bring you joy and love and sustain you for a long time to come. Stay positive and share your well-being with others. The more you share, the more you will manifest, so be generous. Cow spirit promises that you will never run out of miracles. And I want to say, just be thankful for what you do have. You know, I don't have a golden palace. My house looks much more like this. But I'm lucky enough that I was able to get a mortgage and buy my own home. It was really difficult for me. It was not easy. It took me about 10 years of trying to save up enough for a deposit. And even then, I didn't have the money for a deposit. And I think I used credit cards or a loan or something. I think it was about £3,000. And I remember scraping, like literally scraping together, like, you know, down the back of your sofa, looking for pennies levels of scraping the money together to pay like the solicitor's fees and the conveyance fees and all this kind of stuff. But we got the money together, like scraped it together, again, using my credit card and everything. So when we first moved in, we had nothing. We had the worst house in the best area that we could possibly afford. Like the window panes were rotting. My house was constructed in 1905, so yeah, rotting window panes and drafts and all sorts of problems with it. We were in debt and I had no money and I didn't have money for food, and I was grateful and I was lucky that my mum worked in a cafe, and at the end of the day she'd bring round all the leftovers. So she'd bring round you know, these big industrial tubs of margarine, like emptied out and cleaned, like full of like leftover rice or leftover salad. So it was like, that was my meal, that was my food for a good few months when we first got the house. You know, it was leftovers. So if you're if you are using, I don't know, food banks and things like this, or perhaps you've had the experience of having to use food banks or having to get, you know, meals from a charity, or, you know, social like government money, government assistance, you know, all these different things. You know, maybe you felt like your life is quite humble, but I want to say, having that gratitude for what you do have and focusing on, thank goodness I've got a roof over my head, thank goodness I've got a source of food, or, you know, whatever the lowest bar is for yourself, be thankful, because, you know, it's the universe responds to gratitude. When you, another example is when COVID first started and everybody was panic buying supplies. There was no milk, there was no toilet roll, there was no bread. Everybody panic bought it, like the shelves were bare, and I was like, I don't know where I'm going to get milk and bread from. Like, whoa. My last day in work, and again I work in a coffee shop, a bistro. The last day that I was in work, we had, you know, we shut down almost quite unexpectedly. So there was food in the fridges that was going to go off. We couldn't sell it. We couldn't, you know, the business was closed. That food was just going to rot. So I remember being sent home from work with a big bag of milk and bread, because it would have gone off, right? There was, you know, and I was like, the abundant universe provides. I was worried about getting these basic resources, and then the universe provided them for me in an unexpected way. And the universe will do that if you show that gratitude, and it can be hard, and sometimes it doesn't, but be grateful for the gifts that the universe does give you, even if those gifts are very, very small or very, very humble. Yeah. All right, Libras, I hope this was helpful to you. Do take really good care of yourselves, and you know, your hard work is paying off. I want to say that commitment, that perseverance, that commitment to loving yourself and being in high vibrational energy, and being able to literally put yourself in other people's shoes. Oh my God, that's another story I can tell you. So I had a dream. I think it may have been Saturday night, about, literally, I was with my mum, and I can't remember the details of the dream, but it was definitely like, I think I was like sleeping in a tent, and like I was at some kind of, I was actually trying to get into a charity shop that was run by a church in the local area, and people were judging me, like my clothes were wet. I had to change my shoes because my shoes were wet, because I've been walking through mud and things. And I remember, I think I put my mum's shoes on. So I remember thinking, this dream is a metaphor for walking in my mum's shoes. I know that my mum struggled for money when my mum and dad got divorced, and you know, that's one thing. And then the other thing is, I was at work yesterday, and I've got long COVID, so I've been running out of energy really, really quickly. I like literally standing up after an hour in work, being stood on my feet. I was leaning against the walls and things. I was like, and my body just isn't used to standing up for long periods of time anymore. My body's exhausted. You know, it's like my muscles need to get used to being used again. But I remember coming home and thinking, my mum she really got the short end of the stick when it came to the government pushing back the pension age. The government moved the pension age for women from 60 to 65, and she was at the brunt end of it. You know, she really missed out, and then she finally reached pension age and she passed away. So I don't know, there's a lesson in there, I think. Fuck you, government. And you know, not all the time, but on that specific choice that they made, my mum really got the short end of the stick on that. So she was trying to work. She was working in a nursery, making the meals, but her body was getting old. Her body was getting tired, and she struggled. You know, she found it stressful, and her body couldn't continue to work, you know, what she was being expected to work. You know, she should have retired. Her body was at retirement age. She'd worked all her life and paid a pension all her life, only to get screwed out of it at the end of her life. And coming home after trying to work my shift, you know, being frustrated that I had to go home early because my body was just not cooperating. You know, I really felt, I understand now what it's like. I understand what it's like for older women or older people who are technically at retirement age, who's, you know, do have health issues, who are trying to work, and just physically can't, you know, and the frustration of that. And again, it had that energy of like walking in my mum's shoes. So I don't know what the moral of this story is exactly, but again, it's this energy of looking back on past experiences, being able to sympathize with other people, which seems to be a huge talent for you at this time, Libra. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Very long reading. Thank you for sticking with me if you've watched the whole reading. Again, nobody has to, but it's a message for somebody. There's stuff in this reading that is going to mirror things that are happening in people's lives, and sometimes hearing about somebody else's experience helps you to understand your own experiences. So hopefully you've taken something from this reading. Hopefully you've got a different perspective on something that's going to allow you to progress and evolve with a new skill under your tool belt in some sort of way. Yeah, okay. I'm going to leave it there. Do take care of yourselves. You are taking care of yourself. I can see that your energy is brilliant. Keep going, Libra. You're doing really well. Take care, and I will see you again soon. Bye bye.